So this whole video really is going to be a charting 101 kind of basics and gives you a nice sense of charting and really how to take the approach. So there's a lot of books you can read. There's a lot of information out there, but markets will always be a little bit different than, you can be only so prepared, because it's not always going to look as clean and as cut dry. But really the first thing we want to look at, okay, a new trader will ask, what time frame do I use? Do I use 15 minute? Do I use 5 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour, hourly? Which time frame do I use? And the answer is, you kind of want to get a feel from all. So I usually start with, for example, I'll look at the 4 hour chart. Clearly we're in a super uptrend. We've really been killing it. This is a live chart of gold. And we look at hourly. And I look a lot on hourly. Hourly is really important. I really get a good sense for the overall picture on hourly. Hourly is what I usually leave it on the most. But hourly is not as conclusive enough for me to really determine everything. I do look at the lower time frames. I look at the daily. But really, when you look at a chart, you're really just getting, a little bit of a snapshot, really in each hour. So each hour is represented by one candle, right? And you can see that there's, for example, here, this hour, barely the price moved. This hour, a couple days ago, the price shot up. Look how much. And the size of the move determines a lot. So, for example, a move this big, a 7-point move, that's a pretty nice move. In 1 hour, it moves 7 points compared to this, which is barely a point or two. So this is not. So if you thought about going short right here, right after here, everyone that tried to short it was crushed, because a large tracement really can get things fired up, right? For example, here, huge surge in gold. We take the base to the top of the candle, so the candle closed up here. We began here, dropped here, dropped a little bit, and then finished up here. So overall, the candle had a range of over 10 points in 1 hour. That's very significant. This is where news of the coronavirus started, and it made a new support. This became the support. Gold stayed at the support, and then it took off. Now, if you really thought, the sellers tried a few times, you can see these are bearish candles. But did they even really come close? I mean, look at the size of this move. Maybe 3.5, 4 points at the most. So if you thought about shorting it, that's just insane. I mean, and then not every candle is going to necessarily mean a tell-all tale. Like this is a bearish candle, right? These are bearish candles. How the wick is there, right? That inverted hammer right here. That's not good. This inverted hammer right there is a sign that the market's going to pull down. But did it? No. Not always, but you have to look at structure. Now it consolidated, and you had a big push up here. So we look at, where are the big moves at? I always like to say, where was the last big move? Okay, so if we're looking at only here, right? Big move, consolidation, push up. Then we have a new resistance up here. Here's the new resistance. Market came back down close to the support, but look at the size. Okay, maybe some traders were thinking over here, maybe it could come down. But this is a strong support. Market held this area look how long it held it for, a long time. Long support, didn't move. That's a pretty strong support. The longer it's out of support, the stronger, the more significant it is. And 1600 is a millennial number. These are very critical numbers, round numbers. The market loves round numbers. So the market tends to get stuck at them, and it has difficulty penetrating them at times. So what really happened was, although yes, these are three bearish candles in a row. Yes, but the support was strong. The trend was up. You know, the trend can buck everything. The big move can buck everything. So then the buyers absorbed the sellers, and we pushed up higher, and we broke out very quickly. Upon here, you definitely don't want to be. The trend even got stronger. Here, the trend got even stronger. Now we have not as big of a move, but we have about 6-7 point run again, and it came back down, made a new support, and popped. Now this is more of a, the bears are getting rejected. Inverted hammer. The sellers have been crushed. Right here would be a great buying candlestick. Right here, this one right here. This is a good buying candlestick. This means the bears, look at this wick. Wick is a few points. The market came down, and the buyer said, nope, don't think so. This candlestick can make you a lot. Because this candlestick really, in a strong trend, is just keep on buying. Right? Here it is kind of inverted. But, I mean, with the strength of the trend, you would have only could have got 5 points. You'd have to be in and out. If you're going to short a strong trend at all, you got to be in and out. And then look, the market came up, another big one, another strong move. So you had one, 2, 3 moves. The market moved up in 3 stages. Clearly, these are the clear indications. Right? Still holding steady. These are significant moves. This is another significant move. So, the trend is up. The trend, it's difficult to draw a trend line. Sometimes you'll see in books and they draw them clearly, but trend lines are difficult to draw. I mean, this trend is not cut and dry. I mean, it's here, then it's here, then it's here, then it's here. Trends are never pretty, right? A trend is never going to be pretty. And now, a lot of traders might have thought, and even myself at one point almost thought that, okay, this is the end. And this is a very news-driven market. And this will pull back eventually. Gold will pull back, but it hasn't yet. And this is almost an engulfing. But the one problem, the reason why I didn't go too deep into this, I got in and out of this one, is because I realized that the base doesn't cover the wick. If this body was all the way up here, covered the wick, see this wick at the top, then it'd be a little bit better. And the market did have this wick over here. And when the market gets wicky, see it gets wicky, it did kind of look, this was a tricky one. This was a tricky area to read. And it still kept going up. It still bled up. Market's still going up. It still has not had, it failed. But this is a clue that it might fall, because when I see at least the body's engulfing, it's not as engulfing as I want it to be. There's a difference between engulfing the body, like the body's engulfing, like here, it engulfs the body, but it doesn't engulf the wick. If this engulfed the whole wick up here, like if this white was all the way up here, then I would feel even more confident in the bears that they could really push this lower. But it just, for a trend, for 3 significant pumps, it's difficult right now for the bears to really get a grasp of it. And I think they will eventually. So, hourly gives you a good perspective, and you see different candlesticks. Like, let's just review. Bullish candle. Here's a bearish, but the trend is up. This trend is very strong. We get significant pump, right? Pump again, bear, and then boom. This was hard to read. This was not really a great amount of trading signals you'd get here. So and then we look at lower time frames, you get a little bit more detail, but it's almost sometimes it's too noisy. I mean, It almost made a head and shoulders, almost, but the trend is so strong on the coronavirus. The market's so news driven. It said nope. This really could have been a head and shoulders. Could have been. But the one thing I didn't really like, and I didn't really go too deep into this one, is that it's not really the best neck. Like, you know, I like a more even neck. So in the head and shoulders, this would be here and this would come down more. Its neckline really wasn't that great. I like when the second shoulder is a little bit lower, but this one, the second shoulder is a little bit higher. It's almost like a fake head and shoulders in a way, almost. But, you know, and then you also see, yeah, it's getting wicky here. So I did take a little bit of a short here. This is where I took a short. I made a good amount just shorting here, and it was quick. I didn't get cocky because I knew this trend is strong. So I saw these wicks forming. Wick, bearish, bearish, bearish. Boom, I went deep. Called a nice move, got out very quickly because I knew I was closest to the support here, and then boom, it just kept going up, going up. Right now it's really going, you know, and at this current rate, it could keep going. It could keep going higher. There's really not been a super high significant sign of weakness. I mean, this is a weakness. Okay, it sold off, but the trend kept going up. You know, we do the rough trend line, you know. Look at that. I mean, it's still going up. It's ugly. Trend lines are hard to draw. You know, if you even look, you know, rough idea, boom, that's kind of what it is. Still going up. It broke out of here. You know, still up here. Maybe this is where it comes down. You know, RSI has been pretty high on all the time frames. 30 minute, 65. RSI is high. RSI is high on everything. Even the 4 hour, it's 80. You know, so it's really oversold. We don't really know when this is going to come down. This is difficult to chase. I mean, the RSI is high. It's made a lot of a run. Bears have a lot of room to pull this down when it does come. If the news starts getting positive, yeah, this could pull down. But like I said, I'm not too shocked it actually kept rallying off how bad the news has been. I mean, gold is very susceptible to world events. This is going to be an interesting area. This is any man's guess. This still has the ability, because the structure still does indicate it's kind of tight. A lot of times when gold is going to pump, it gets a little bit tight. Like, this is kind of a tight little V. Like, it's not too far. This angle over here is not far from this. So, kind of gives a clue. But this is going to be an interesting area. If it does fall, I mean, who knows how high it could go. But, I mean, if let's say it fell from here, I would say 16-18's game from that support. At most, 16-14 maybe. Could get stuck in this area on a pullback. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll really have to see how this is going to play out. It's going to be pretty interesting. Well, hope you liked the video. As always, like, subscribe, comment, share, and looking forward to you next time.